think it can work. They can. It's not out of the realm of possibility that they will play well together.
At the same time, defensively, it would be a nightmare. You cannot put Brandon Jennings and Reggie Jackson on the floor together. It's just not going to work, especially in the East when the East actually has decent guards everywhere. It's not going to work. Somebody's going to have to go. And the sad thing is it will be Brandon Jennings because he never is going to get his job back because they gave Reggie Jackson $80 million. But that's another topic for another day.
That's
I mean, we can go into bad contracts, for the next 2.5 hours if we really wanted to, but we're not going to go to. Speaking of teams that have been disappointing but actually playing up to their peak before we run into the break is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Played well the last couple games. Mario Chalmers, surprisingly, has made a huge difference.
If you go on NBAFCPRadio.com, there's an article on Mario Chalmers that went up this morning. And actually his first 3 games in Memphis, averaging 18 points a game. But if you watch the game last night against the Thunder, now the Thunder did not have Kevin Durant, but Mario Chalmers dominated that fourth quarter last night.
Played really well.
18 points in the fourth quarter, finished the game with 29 in 23 minutes. For me, the biggest part of this deal is that they were losing Chalmers, Tony Allen, and Mike Conley on the floor together.
Which you can. Chalmers is not a bad defensive player.
No, he's a very good defensive player.
And the thing is, he out of that group, what's he bring that they didn't have before?
He can score.
Outside shooting as well.
Yeah. So really,
it's a good compliment.
So Mark, think about this. You already know the Grizzlies are a grinded out team. So Mark, let me get your opinion on this real quickly. 30 seconds on this. You have Allen, Chalmers, and then you also have Mike Conley as your 3 main guys on the perimeter, and you have Gasol and Zebo on the post. Does this remind you? Does this remind you of the grit and grind Grizzlies team that we always have? You got 30 seconds on this one.
Yeah, I definitely agree. This is a team that can grind it out. They can, play great defense, smothering defense, and now they have some good shooting to go with it. So, this is the team, the Memphis team, I think people expected to see. Thank Miami, Memphis fans.
Exactly. And another guy who actually has shown a pulse has been Jeff Green. They moved him in the starting lineup 3 games ago, and he's been scoring over 20 points a game in those last 3 games.
Which I don't understand why he wasn't. I mein, it just doesn't. It just doesn't make sense. So now all of a sudden you get smart because you add Chalmers. I mean, was Chalmers half coached too? I mean, what in the? I don't get it, man.
Exactly. We're going to take a quick break here on Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELLC. 407-916-8255 is the number to check in. If you're nationwide, 800-729-8255 to check in with myself, Paul Myers, and Mark Johnson. After the break,
don't say my government, man.
Hey, you're on the show, aren't you? After the break, former NBA All-Star and also the number 2 overall pick in the 1991 draft, Kenny Anderson will be in with us talking about his new autobiography. And, of course, we're going to have to talk about the move. If you don't know about it, YouTube it. This is Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELLC. We'll check you after the break.
Still seeing delays east and westbound along I-4 this evening. You'll see those delays along the 417. Also, southbound 417 is slow from Reinhardt Road to Airport Boulevard due to a wreck. Northbound 417 delays from Curry Ford Road Toll Plaza to University Main Toll Plaza. And look out for an accident reported in Kissimmee, US 192, just east of OBT. If you see traffic problems, call the Safe Touch Security Tip Line, 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Catherine Davis.
Are you looking for a fun experience on the water with your family? Bring them to the Orlando Water Sports Complex, located off Highway 528 near OIA. The Orlando Water Sports Complex provides an experience you won't soon forget, featuring cable wakeboarding, as well as the Super Air Nautique G23, the world's best wakeboarding and wake surfing boat for guests to enjoy. For more info, visit actionparks.com. That's AKTIONPARKS.com. And tell them Full Court Press sent you.
The Sports RX with Brandon Kravitz and the Shot Doctor.
Nick Saban will resign and never coach again if Treon Harris beats him in a playoff. That he would quit on the spot. Are you kidding me? Who the hell wants to see that? The Gators, they've had a nice year. Who wants to watch the Gators beat Alabama? I don't want to see that.
The Sports RX with Brandon Kravitz and the Shot Doctor. Weekday afternoons at 3 p.m. on FM 96.9, The Game.
We're all born with the blues, whether we want to admit it or not. Though you'll truly experience the blues from a different yet very unique perspective when you visit Yippee-Ki-Yay Blues. At Yippee-Ki-Yay Blues, you'll experience some amazing sounds from aspiring, talented musicians in the blues genre. Be sure to download Yippee-Ki-Yay Blues Android app from Google Play Store and get wired to the Rattled Beach Show on Friday nights. Blues on. YippieKiABlues.com.
Tired of losing money in the stock market? Tired of watching real estate values plummet? Choose the Golden Road with Gulf Coast Gold and Silver and get a free guide to buying precious metals. We have years of experience in buying and selling precious metals and can answer all of your questions on how to roll over .999 fine gold and silver into your IRA. Over the last 10 years, gold has been an asset in any portfolio. And during this period, gold has tripled and then some. With the increase in industrial demand for flat-screen televisions, cell phones, MP3 players, cameras, and cars, silver and gold demand could skyrocket beyond imagination. Gold and silver can mean strong returns for your investment, retirement, or savings. Call 800-884-7919. Again, 800-884-7919. At Gulf Coast Gold and Silver, every purchase is as good as gold.
Hey fans, this is Eric Kohler, stadium voice of UCF football. We invite you to tune in to EK Sports every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we feature the preferred picks of the week, insured by our good friends at Preferred Benefits Consultants, where it's always fun to pick those games of the week, but never a time to gamble with your health care. Find a Preferred Benefits Consultant at OrlandoHealthExchange.com. That's the letter X, OrlandoHealthExchange.com, and start saving today.
The lifeline for each American worker is their understanding that they will receive a fair day's pay for a hard day's work. Unfortunately, many employers in this country do not believe in this concept and look for ways to shortchange hardworking Americans out of their right to full and proper overtime and minimum wages. If you've received straight time pay, comp, or bank time for overtime work, or if your employer makes you work off the clock or doesn't pay you for all the time worked, such as drive time or prep time, you may be entitled to recover your rightful overtime wages. Even certain categories of salaried and commissioned employees must be paid overtime compensation for overtime hours worked. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you believe that you're entitled to overtime pay, call Morgan & Morgan at 1-800-MORGAN-LAW. Morgan & Morgan. For the people. Offices, Orlando.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, that's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
Now here's what's different about this, my friends.
We are the new FM 96.9 The Game.
We are back for Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELLC. 407-916-8255 is the number here in Orlando, or toll free 800-729-8255. I'm hanging out here tonight with my main man, Paul Myers, and Marc Johnson at NBAFCPRadio.com. Guys, we're going into the break talking about the Memphis Grizzlies and also teams that are surprising and been disappointing. Now, last week we talked about how bad the Grizzlies were. They were 2-6 at one point. They've won 4 in a row. Now they're 3-3. Now we can throw back in the category of teams that have been really confusing and disappointing have been the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, it is very, very surprising. We all talked about this just before we came over to the game. When we were doing our previous show, the addition of Ty Lawson should have been something that got them over the hill. And right now, it seems like it's pulling them back down, and they're heading backwards, which is not what you want when you bring in a guy of Ty Lawson's caliber. Now, Marc, I think you were the one. You suggest that Ty Lawson come off the bench, right?
Yeah, at least to start. At least to start it. You know, I mean, they had a really good thing going with Patrick Beverly when he was, healthy.
Agreed.
I'm just like, start him and ease Ty Lawson into the lineup. By the time you got to near midseason, he'd be in pure form, ready to go, and then that Rockets team can kick it up another gear.
Right.
You know, I'm just like, he didn't have enough practice time with them in the summer. It's not like they bonded as a unit. It was kind of like, oh, yeah, everybody show up at training camp, and then let's mesh there in 3 weeks and, put it together. And I'm like, sometimes these things take time.
And you know something, I mean, just kind of add what you're saying. What you can do for now or going forward possibly, Ty Lawson can be your sixth man.
Mm-hmm.
You can. They've had. I mean, if you look at some of the lineups that have been effective for the Rockets thus far, they had Beverly, Lawson, and Harden on the court at the same time. So you can bring Lawson in as your sixth man. Bring maybe Ariza out, give him a break. Bring somebody. You can. It doesn't matter. The good thing about Houston is they have a very interchangeable lineup with guys like Terrence Jones, Matajunas. Ariza can slide over to the 4 depending on who they're playing. I mean, they have a very versatile lineup. So I think Marc is correct. You bring Ty Lawson in off the bench. If you're playing against a team that has a weak second unit, Ty Lawson is going to pick them apart.
Now, here's a question with the Rockets. Is it all on Ty Lawson, or is the fact of were the Rockets just really that good? Or did they just catch luck last year in the playoffs with guys being hurt and they just were on fire in the second part of the season?
Well, again, health is always a concern with them. It has been thus far. Terrence Jones is just coming off injury. Matajunas still not healthy. Ty Lawson actually, from what I remember reading, he wasn't 100% healthy starting the season. I mean, these guys, they cannot seem to stay healthy. You got Dwight Howard, who's not playing back-to-backs. By the way, has been probably the best Rocket thus far. He's been a constant double-double guy until last night. Howard has played really well, but he's not playing every game, and that's the problem.
Last thought on the Rockets this one. Harden is averaging 27 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, almost 6 assists a game.
He's playing well.
I mean, but like I said, the key problem has been Ty Lawson. 11 games, 8 points, 5 assists.
Yeah.
This is from a guy, that was, like you said, was supposed to be brought in to do some things on the offensive end, but a career low 8 points a game, and he hasn't hit double figures. You guys, he has not hit a game of double figures since November 6th against Sacramento, where he scored 13 points. His last five games, 7, 7, 0, 8, and 6 on the point totals.
Right.
That's
bad.
That's not good. I mean, that's allowed. That's borderline Philadelphia 76er point guard territory.
Oh boy.
I know. I'm going to throw it at you all night. Speaking of point guards, our guest for our main guest of the evening tonight is a former NBA All-Star. He's been around the league so long and also has one of the most memorable moves in my lifetime in college basketball. We put Bobby Hurley in a blender, juiced him up, and pretty much, and drunk him and passed him on to his Georgia Tech teammates. Our good friend Kenny Anderson is online. Kenny, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me on. What's going on?
You know what, Kenny? I'm going to start off. I've been a big fan of yours since going back to the days of Georgia Tech. I remember Lethal Weapon 3. Being a Heels fan, me and Paul grew up as Heels fans.
Yeah.
I remember how much damage you did to Carolina over the years. For me, my first question is, when you transition, especially these younger point guards, how difficult is the transition going to be from college to the pros? How was your transition?
Well, when I was, skill level, skill-wise, I was great. A lot of times you just deal with, with the business side of it. It's a lot of politics. I went number 2 in the draft that year, and Willis Reed drafted me to the Nets, and Bill Fitch was my coach. And I think he wanted to draft Billy Owens, and they brought me in. Willis Reed wanted to bring me in, so that's the GM and coach. So I went in the middle of a mess. so that Bill Fitch didn't play me my rookie year. What saved me was I backed up Mookie Blaylock. Mookie Blaylock got hurt and he sat out. He had to sit out about 15, 20 games, and I played very well those games. And when he came back, he sat me back on the bench. So I knew it was personal. So, and another thing, I was home, coming from the metropolitan area of New York. Most of the media, the writers followed me in high school. So I just shut my mouth. I knew they would. They signed me for 5 years. I shut my mouth, and they invested in me, and I knew I was going to get the opportunity. I had an idea they were going to fire the coach and let me play. They couldn't just draft me number 2 and just sit me and not play me. So